Well, let's call the meeting to order at 2 minutes after 9. Please turn off your phone. And go to conduct. Glasses, Richard. We may disagree, but we will be respectful of one another. We will direct all comments to issues. We will not engage in personal attacks. Today I would like to add, we are a diverse group, having different opinions on most everything, but we're united on the things within the bounds of the city. We need to take care that we don't express personal opinions about things beyond those bounds at this table. We are apolitical for a reason that keeps us focused on city issues and away from defensive, argumentative, or antagonistic conversation among ourselves, the commissioners, and the staff. Thank you. So,
I don't understand that last part, so maybe we can talk about it later. Yeah, part about opinions beyond the city limits or something, whatever it was.
we can talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
The message was delivered. Okay.
No, the message was not, it was delivered, but it wasn't received, that's totally clear.
Okay.
Okay.
It was not
It's
direct.
out there somewhere.
All right. Okay.
Just to differentiate that.
All right. Mr. Costa,
Yes, sir.
would you recognize our guest, please?
I will.
Push the button on the bottom.
From the county. Nope.
On the bottom. Push hard and hold. You'll see a light up in the window.
Hello? Yes. From the county, Mark Smith. Thank you, Mark. From our city commissioners, Liz Albert, I just saw you walk in. Liz, where are you? There you go. Commissioner Jen? There you go. And let's see, Commissioner Debbie Trice, where are you, Debbie?
Hidden on the side.
Oh, you're hiding there on us. All right, and from the city, we got the Director of Planning, Steve Kova. Steve? And we have our Deputy City Manager, Pat. Give us a wave, there you go. And our City CCNA Champion, Nancy Kelly. And is there, did I miss anyone? I don't know if I see, did Lucia come in? No, I got that. I think that's it. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Officer, where is he?
Oh, yeah. He's coming up.
He's coming up. It's the guy in the uniform. What is it, Gronkowski?
Yeah.
I cannot
Okay.
pronounce your last name.
It's okay, Officer Matt.
Matt. Officer Matt. Okay. Are there any new delegates at the table today?
Yes, Tor.
Yes.
Yes, Tor.
Uh,
Hi, my name is Suzanne Waxman, and I represent Toll Support. I'm the secretary and the registered agent, and I'm very glad to be up here at the table.
Thank you. We also, my alternate delegate from Bayou Oaks is here, Claudia Petruni. And this is her first time. She's a go-getter. She picks up a gallon of litter along Old Bradenton Road about every half day. Okay. Now, Officer Matt. Mark. Sorry. Matt? You're a Matt or?
Matthew.
Matthew.
I'm good at forgetting those.
That's okay.
All right.
He still calls me Kathy, it's not my name.
There you go.
Good morning, and happy Saturday. Here to give some stats for the month of January, and we'll compare them to last year and the month of January. So for the month of January this year so far, for murder, we've had 1 murder, and then for last year it was 0. For aggravated assaults, it is 13 for the year, 26 for last year. Robbery, we had 4, 7 for last year, 1 sex crime for this year, and then 3 for last. Burglary, we had 10 so far, 25 for last year. Larceny from a vehicle was 10, and then 28 for last year. And then motor vehicle theft will be 13, and then 16 for last year. I know you have a lot going on. If you have any questions, I'll be back here all meeting long, so you can just come grab me. We can step outside. But thank you, and enjoy your meeting.
Thank you. All right. Is anybody from code here today? I think we got our wires crossed. And let's see, okay, well, we were gonna have a talk on click to fix, and somehow, who?
Pat's here.
Pat's here, yeah. Pat.
Maybe. Wing it.
Come on up here then.
All right, this is cutting into your neighborhood work.
All right, that's all right. All right, so, come on over here. My first question is, what can we report to click to fix and what can't we?
So I think first off, everybody should take out their phone that you made them put away. So take out your phones. Right? So let's look and make sure you have click to fix, since we're talking about click to fix, right? So if you don't have it, it's on the App Store, and I don't know what the Android equivalent is. I'm an iPhone guy. So it is on Oh, look at that! Herminio is walking up. Oh, fantastic! He's actually the one doing the presentation on click to fix. So hold on a second.
No, you
No. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Oh, it's Herminio! Everybody, say hi to my Herminio. So, come on up, buddy, or leave. So, Herminio is our IT director, and he actually runs the department that handles the click-to-fix stuff. But I will say, there's been some confusion when to use it. I think that's what Richard asked me to kind of talk about. So, the difference between code compliance, click-to-fix, and calling the non-emergency number for the police department. And let me start with the police department because I can answer that one really quickly. If it's something that needs immediate attention, like right now, like you need an officer to come out immediately, or you see something that's a threat to public safety, something ongoing, always call. That's what you pay them for. Trust me. They're doing something that they can leave and go to something else, and if they're not, they'll be tied up and dispatch will let you know. But if you have questions, always revert back to the fastest, which is 316-1199, which is non-emergency. If it's an emergency, 911 all day, right? So 316-1199, if something's ongoing and active and you're seeing it like happen, for example, like you have a giant water leak or something that's spraying into the road, or you see somebody doing something criminal, always call the cops. We have about 20 police officers working at any given point in time during the day, and someone will come out and meet with you. When you do meet with them, ask them for their name, their case number, and really just name and case number, because that way we can follow up if you have any questions about it on the back end. Sometimes if it's a minor thing, they can clear it without a report. But if they meet with you and you get a case number, a report will be written. So that way, if there's a question or a complaint, we can then go back and follow up and make sure it was handled appropriately. So case number and name of officer, and give them your name and contact information, and then you can follow up on that. Code compliance is more not public safety related. You can always make a code compliance complaint, but it takes a long time to be followed up on. It's not something that's immediate. Similar to click to fix, which you're gonna see here, but there's a lot of different drop downs that you can use for click to fix, but some of it's not gonna come out right then. If you need somebody to come out, it's gonna be the police or code compliance. Code compliance, you can call them on the phone. I don't know their number off the top of my head, but the click to fix is more, you go onto the drop down box and you can select something, and it'll be followed up on and assigned, and then followed up on by the appropriate staff. So that's sort of more of a triaging program to get into, and then pick the appropriate, sorry, these guys are playing with these things, pulling me away there. Sorry. That's good, jeez, I like it. Anyways, I want to turn this over to the Master of Ceremonies here, Herminio Rodriguez, my IT director, who is going to, he's fantastic, and I'm so glad he showed up, because I can't just sit up here and like, hey, click to fix. So I'll turn it over to Herminio. Thanks, buddy.
Morning, everyone. My apologies for being late. I was kind of coming over from Lakewood Ranch, and there was this huge fog. You couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. It was crazy. So, okay, Pat's a hard act to follow. I'm gonna do my best.
Catch up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah.
All right, so I've been asked to talk about click to fix, and it's been a really, really long journey to get here. I'm gonna talk about the technical pieces. Is anybody here from Public Works, Pat, or from any of the other department, Parks, Public Works? Nobody else?
Just you, bud.
Okay, so I can throw them under the bus and you guys are not gonna say anything? You're not gonna tell them, right? All right, so, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Excuse me, the two guys blocking the TV screen. Want to get out of the way?
I was gonna say,
Let me take care of this first.
yeah, they're gonna put it in presentation mode. I just have a couple slides to kind of guide the conversation. So, this is a really long journey. It actually predates Pat and his role. And the city manager approached us, and they wanted a single system to be able to address issues citywide. And we had silos. Oh, actually, Steve is here, so I gotta watch my. Oh, and the commissioner's here. How are you, Commissioner? Okay, so I can't throw anybody. You guys should have told me that. I can't throw anybody under the bus. Okay. So no. Okay. So it's been a long road. It was a long road to get to this point with this application. And the issue was, when I first got to the city, this is like a number of years back, 5, 6 years ago, we didn't have a common system in the background. And the problem is, how do you get issues into the city system and then have everyone address those issues? And what was big for the city manager, he wanted a way to close the loop, get back to the citizen or the person who initiated the call and let them know that the issue was resolved. The issue was that in the,
What happened?
It went, yeah, we go. Okay, we got it. It went too far. All right, so the issue was, we needed a common system. Think of, Public Works had their own bucket, their own system, and then Parks had their own system. They didn't talk to each other, so it was very difficult, and we were missing things. So the issue was, we needed to get into one single system, and how do you do that with these major departments? Also, when the city manager approached us, we didn't have a budget for it. It wasn't really well thought out because it was like in the middle of the budget year. Things at the city we tend to figure out in the beginning of the budget year, and then we establish a budget for it. We didn't have a budget for this. So, and it was something that a couple commissioners wanted, so we needed to find a solution. And something that really was low cost or no cost at all. We got our creative hats on, and then we actually went to GIS. And if you guys know what GIS, Graphical Information Systems, that's mapping things, put a little, we call it green dots on the map, but the GIS guys get really upset about that. So anyway, so GIS, we had a site license. That means we can consume everything that they gave us. And they had a package called Workforce that could do some of the things that we wanted to do. So we had to get with all the departments, and we had to get a lot of support from the city manager, but we were able to get a single system. We were able to move Public Works, Parks, utilities, and facilities, and some of the small things, parking as well, into this single system, and then we were able to open up this system for the public. So when someone sends, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but, okay. So this is, I wanted to talk a little bit about the technology of what makes click to fix work. And this is not a commercial application, it's not a prepackaged application. We actually built this ourselves. We're really proud of this accomplishment. So first, as you guys know, your intake, and you're gonna have iOS or Android. I don't know if anybody tried to download the Android version. A couple of days ago, we were told at the store that our Android version was outdated, but we were able to get a new one up. I think this morning, it should be pretty good. So we didn't want to limit. If the city manager really wanted this to be really, really easy. So obviously there's Android users and there's Apple users, and those two will never mix, right? No, those two will never mix. We couldn't do one and not the other, right? But for the room, there's more Apple users on this app than there's Android users. Just want to make you guys know that. Okay. Anyway, so the other big deal was emails, right? We wanted to close the loop with an email. The problem is Workforce doesn't do email. So we had to get very, very creative. And Workforce is a cloud app, so we had to get creative, and we had to bring those services down to the city and then manually send some emails out, and it's pretty cool the way that works. and it's built on a GIS application. Now here, this is the magic sauce right here, dashboards. All these service requests, when they all come in, we have to get a dashboard where we can kind of see what's going on, and we have to present that to the departments. So they know that, you know, we were having, I don't know, 10 holes on this street. Well, why are holes on this street happening? So that's where we can actually get the analytics, and the departments can actually see the data and see if there's patterns, et cetera, et cetera. And then the last part was to actually close the ticket and close the loop, and let you guys know, or everybody, that the problem has been resolved or has been addressed in some way. So, so this is a little bit more of the same, but basically the service request here, it allows the public and the staff to actually see, and the key here is easily, without an account, right? We had to build the system in a way that you could do it without an account. So you guys asked about email responses, or email responses back to your request. In order to do that, you have to include an email when you open the ticket. But it's optional, right? We couldn't force anyone to do that. So that's critical. But remember, when you open a ticket and click to fix, if you do not include an email address, we can't notify you, and then it can't be tracked because you won't get the tracking number. So that's critical. So the other side of that, if you want to be anonymous, you can open the ticket and you don't have to put the email address. And then obviously communicate, track, and then close. So this is a little busy, but this is actually the internal workflow of what happens, and I can share this with you guys when you get into the weeds. You don't want that. But basically, these right here are the service request types. And there's two asterisks here, code compliance and noise compliance. And Pat talked about those. These two, because of statute or other issues, they go straight to either a PD, the asterisk here says auto-directed to website of the police department. So outside of these two, these are the service request types you can do and click to fix. And what happens is, if you see a hole, you open up your phone, you take a picture of it, it checks to make sure you're within the city. That's a big deal that we have. We were getting service requests from the county, and we don't want to do that. So we geo-fence. The phone knows if you're in the city property, and then it'll allow you to take a picture of it, and then you can select any one of these. Let's say a street signs and street lines. You can pick that from the drop down, and then that actually goes into a dispatcher. We actually have 34 dispatchers at the city, and we have 118 workers combined supporting this app. There's all the departments and everybody that takes a look at it. Now, the city probably has about 15 dedicated dispatchers, but you need a field worker. Sometimes when the main dispatcher say it's you guys said it was a parking issue, but they say no, it's a park issue. They have to be able to redirect it to parks. We call that a dispatcher. So this is the total. I did this presentation maybe about 3 weeks ago, and at that time we had 13,443 assignments, and out of those, 13,062 had been completed. We had 337 assigned and 44 unassigned. Unassigned means if you submit a ticket, it's over the weekend, a dispatcher hasn't seen the ticket yet, it becomes unassigned until it gets to somebody's queue or somebody's bucket. And then this is kind of our magic sauce that I was talking to you about. Metrics, analytics, and it kind of allows us to see what's going on. This right here are created tickets. These are closed tickets, and this here is a picture of the city. The green dots represent different tickets throughout the city. I mean, you can see how active we are and how many tickets we got. So in January of 2023, we received 485 tickets across all the departments, and we closed 305. Common question. If you got 485, why did you only close 305? Well, and I talked to all the directors before I came here. So we get an issue with a poll, it's not our poll. It's an FPL poll, it's a county poll, you can't touch the poll. So you gotta communicate to the other side, it takes them a week to get back, we gotta order spare parts, we gotta engage a third party, whatever the reason is, but we track it and we follow through until it gets done. And well, I'll leave that to them. So this is kind of, our the activity that we get per month, and this is the closed activity. And total, if you add all these, we got 13,062. Now, I also want to point this out. This is important. We get tickets via calls, emails, walk-up, and the application. At least 13,062 tickets for 12 months, only 2,231 came through Click to Fix. So we're about 18%. I mean, my math is a little off. I actually did the math. 17, 16%. We need to increase, I think we need to increase that. So if we can leverage the room to really push out the app, that'll make it a lot easier, and a lot easier to follow, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is my last slide here, just so you guys know. Once a week, we have someone who kind of cares and feeds the application, and an email goes out to the department heads, including Mr. Robinson, and he gets to see any unassigned, anything that's out there, and we all worked, and this is a priority for the city. That's my last slide. That's all I have for you. I'm happy to take any questions. I saw, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I tried bringing it up on my Android.
Yes.
Click to the number 2 fix. It doesn't come up.
COS click to fix.
Yeah. See,
CO.
COS.
so you mean it doesn't open, and you can't find it?
Yeah, it's
COS
Okay.
for City of Sarasota.
So we had to, just so you know the story, we had to add COS. Android and Apple would not let us just do Click to Fix with this. There was too many other applications. So they would only allow us to publish it with COS. The firm COS is City of Sarasota. And that was the only way we can get it published in that amount of time. And we really locked on the name. It really can't be changed. Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Just want to comment, I've used it, and it works great. I mean, we had a sign fall down in the neighborhood, I did it, and it was fixed within a day.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, you had a, Dan?
Thank you.
Right here, Dan,
Oh,
has a
okay.
question.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah, so, the app depends on location services.
Yes, sir.
To really work properly.
Yes.
But, unlike a lot of apps, it doesn't remind you to turn on access to the location services. And I will tell you, I've used it for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And today, before asking you a question, I went in to look,
Yeah.
because it's all of a sudden it occurred to me.
Yeah.
So for anybody who does use it, go into your settings and turn on location services access. But also, you can check, like the app can actually check, and then put up a reminder that says, you need to go into settings and turn on your location services.
Yeah.
I think it might work better for you.
Yeah, so for the room, location services, it enables the phone to know where you're at, but it also allows Big Brother to follow where you're at. So I know a lot of people that'll turn location services off, and that's an issue not only for this app, but for a lot of other apps that depend on it. So if you do turn location services off, you wanna turn it on before that's gonna help.
It's
That's
not
gonna
on
help.
by default. I'm
Right,
telling you.
yes, yes.
If you just install it and you never think about it, it's
Right.
gonna be off by default.
Did everybody heard that, yes?
Yeah, I wonder if our developer can do anything about that. That's
I
something
think so, yeah.
that's something I can check
Yeah,
into.
you can actually check
Yeah.
to see whether it's turned
All
on.
right, one more question for,
Yeah.
Yeah, Armando,
Wait. Ron,
Ron Cash.
are you a delegate yet? All right, buddy, go for it.
Ron Cashton, delegate, Laurel Park. Armando, it's a great app. We in Laurel Park use it all the time. But what I found is after you put in a issue, it tends to stay unassigned, and you can keep on going back to you get an email notifying you that the system has taken the issue, but I never get a complete email.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can take a look to see if those completions or the stages as it goes from unassigned to assigned.
So, okay, so you're saying that after the ticket or work order is completed, you don't get a completed email?
That's correct.
Right.
Okay, I'll look into that, because we not only do we send out a completed email, but there's also a way for you to provide feedback in that last email. So that's important. That's an important part of what we do, and we need that feedback back. I mean, we get copied on all the completed emails, and we meet internally once a month to discuss those. We're seeing the completed emails, but I'll take a look. I wasn't aware that wasn't happening.
Okay.
We can take a look.
Using an Apple phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we had one other question.
Okay.
No, hey, no. Over here, and then that's what we gotta do.
So.
We gotta move on.
Is that order?
Sorry about that. He'll be here afterwards, or somebody will be. Thank you.
So I was interested to see, so I was interested to see that you had noise abatement up, on your list. How, noise abatement is something that needs, the purpose of it is solving it relatively immediately. So how does it get transferred to somebody to actually go out and deal with it?
Mr. Roberts, is that something you can answer? Noise abatement?
Yeah, Miles, like I said, that would be something like, construction noise that's ongoing, not emergent, like if there's a band or some noise complaint. That's always gonna be non-emergency calls. You need somebody to come out and do an actual meter reading if you want to cite. So noise abatement in this context is more of a long-term, like an ongoing issue. So, I mean, that might be something we just take off because of that confusion. But I think that was more intended to be construction site, recycling facility, you know, something that's ongoing in the neighborhood where if you have a complaint that you want somebody to come out and take care of right away, it's gotta be the 316-1199 and the officer will respond and take a meter reading.
All right. Thank you, Herminio. And Pat, thank you.
Thank you.
And Pat will be here afterwards to answer questions. I hope Herminio will stay for questions afterwards. Okay, good. Okay, so he'll be here. Yes, sir.
Okay, so, yeah, very quickly, we're actually updating the applications that supports click to fix. We're actually going to a brand new environment. That's gonna, right now it looks about a year and a half, 2 years away. And it's gonna give us a lot more capability in this realm. We'll keep the application, it'll still be the same, but the power behind it's gonna completely change. And we're gonna have a lot more flexibility and a lot more ability about 2 years, and it's about 2 years away. Just wanna let you guys know that that's coming.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very quick.
Yes.
Just gonna say, I wrote
an article for the MPNA newsletter about click to fix and how to use it. And if anybody would like the text of that, you're gonna just drop it into your newsletter. That may help.
Yes, it's a great
Yeah.
idea.
We can do that.
We can do that.
Make that available.
All right, thank you again, Herminio and Patrick. Remember, you have these people come to your neighborhood associations to help get this to the neighborhood, to your residents. Okay, along this line, we have Karen Sellers from Crimestoppers of Sarasota County, and I'm gonna give her a couple minutes to talk about what they do.
I'll let you have the president.
Thank you very much. I'm Karen Sellers. Okay. Karen Sellers, I'm the secretary with Crimestoppers on the board, and this is my husband, Jerry Sellers, treasurer, and he can start it off.
How many people know of Crimestoppers? Have heard of us? How many know how we work? That's one of our missions, is to educate the public on how we work and what you can do. Most people think that we take information only regarding criminals. We do not. We take information on 13 different things that you can report anonymously. Our product is anonymity, or however you wish to pronounce it. We have never had a tipster or someone who has provided information identified in the United States or the world. We're an international operation. There's 4,400 chapters around the world. We are the single chapter in Sarasota County. We have apps. How many have our app on your phone? How many have been to our website? How many know that we do the software for anonymous tipping to the FBI, to the CIA, and other operations from the government? That information we would like to present to your people at your associations. And for that information, you look at little pamphlets that we hand out. We have a little packet there in front of you. And my wife will tell you how to get a hold of us, and we'll be more than happy to come out and talk to you.
Each of you got a little packet of information. In there, you'll find a card that's got our QR code on it. You can put your phone on it. You can just pick up the app right from there. You can report criminal activity. You see things, you know something, put it either online, make a phone call, use our tip line, 366 tips. You can be anonymous. It's an easy way. You never know when you see something that you might go, well, I don't know, that looks like maybe that somebody's breaking into a house. Pay attention. Get the make and model of the car. Get the description. Phone that in. Phone it in, call it in, put it on the app, go to the website. There's different ways you can do it, and you will stay anonymous. And that information is then worked right away. It is put out into the sheriff's system, the PD system, and it's shuffled out to who it needs to go to. And if there is an arrest made with the information you give, there is a reward for it. There's a way you can pick up your reward, you stay anonymous, and it's very easy, and it works. Our statistics are, I'll let Jerry tell you the statistics a little better.
The statistics are long and involved, but let me say this much. Since 1984, when we started here, we have awarded out over $1 million. Of that amount, less than $300,000 has ever been picked up. People report the information because it's a public service, and they're interested in taking care of their areas. And we also take information regarding terrorism, suspicions, human trafficking suspicions, and that's sent to the local police departments to handle. We do not do any type of law enforcement. We're not associated with any law enforcement operations. We're just partners with law enforcement. And it's our responsibility to get the education out, provide the infrastructure for triaging tips and rewarding for those people that wish to come by and pick the information up for successful operations. So please give us a call to my wife or drop us an email. We still use email.
My email address is on each one of the cards there. If you'd like us to come and present, we have a 10-minute PowerPoint that we can bring to your association that will be a little more clarification and some pointers. We also will have packets of information to give to each one in your meeting if you let us know how many you have coming. We also hand out emergency information cards. They're used for children, and they're also used for wandering adults. They're a nifty thing to have, and we'd be happy to come out and explain more. Just shoot me an email and say, hey, this is when we meet, can you come? And we'd be happy to come out. Thank you very much.
Eileen.
Can you hear me? Hi. First of all, thank you very much for what you're doing. I used to run Crimestoppers from the county prosecutor's office where I worked in New Jersey. So it was run through law enforcement, out of law enforcement in New Jersey. And there was a tremendous amount of advertising. It was on television, it was everywhere. I actually don't ever see anything about Crimestoppers down here, because obviously the work is really important and it does work when people call in, but can you do more advertising? Can you do more public outreach so that people can know what you do and that it is anonymous?
We have a budget that we work with, and actually there is some TV coming up that you will see. We do a lot of events. We do a lot of local events. We had done the fair. We done Thunder by the Bay. We do different other places to get ours out. We also have ads in the Observer right now, which will be featuring wanted people. Do you know where I am? And if you do, you can put the number in and give the information. We have it spread out. We do not do big billboards. Those are just not cost effective. And again, we do what we can within our budget to get the information out. And again, it's a lot of word of mouth. We come to places like this, you go to your association, and that's how we work. Like I said, we partner with law enforcement. We have the PD comes to our board meetings. The county sheriff's department representatives come to our board meeting. They know about us. And we just try to get it out to the public, and this is one of our outreaches to be able to do this through word of mouth and different associations that we can come to.
One more question? Oh, we have one more question.
Hi, you mentioned that it gets responses pretty immediate. Can you tell me what that means?
Well, when the phone calls or the emails are come in, they're triaged and they're sent where they need to go.
So 24 hours a day, somebody's monitoring
Yes,
this? Okay.
absolutely.
And I just scanned the QR code and came up with a
P3.
Okay, good. That's what I
That's
need.
it. That's what you're
Because
looking
it didn't
for.
look like your crime scene.
It's P3.
Okay, thank you.
And there's a reason for that. People don't want something on their phones called Crimestoppers. Okay? You lay your phone down or what have you, depending on what neighborhoods you live in or people who have access to your house or what have you, you don't want an app on your phone that says Crimestoppers. That's why it says P3.
Nice. Nice.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
I look forward to coming to visit all of you.
Okay, now, Linda, and she's gonna talk to us about the spreadsheet in Gillespie that they've been tracking, things in the neighborhood. And you should have a handout with a spreadsheet on it.
Did you turn on the lights on this stuff?
We will turn on the lights now, yes. No, she doesn't. But you may use mine.
I'm going old fashioned, and you notice it's called Get Your Hands Dirty. That's what we do. I came to Sarasota in 2011. A few weeks after I moved in, my neighbor said, "You want to come over to the park and do a work day?" I said, "Sure." We're going to work in the pond. And while we waited for the Jeep to get there, to pull the front end of a truck and some lights out, I got to know my neighbors. So then we weeded, we trimmed, we picked up things, and we got our hands dirty. At that time, the county was taking care of parks in Sarasota City. We were happy if they mowed the grass, which didn't happen that often. So a few months after that, I asked to join the board, and we started planning. And let's see, we needed flower beds that needed work, playground equipment, benches, tables. What about the kids? Flagpoles. What about the trash? And how about the drug baggies? We used gloves with that one. We got busy. We created a spreadsheet, Charles Morris, our secretary, because we needed to know what we needed to do, who we were gonna work with, and how we were gonna get it done. So we became partners with the city. We talked to Nancy Kelly. We talked to Jerry Fogel. We talked to Candy Pedersen. And we emailed, we called, and the grocery store was not off limits. We got our hands dirty. We wanted to make the park a place that was a happy place for everyone. We looked at what we could do. We wrote 12 grants. We opened a reading room for children. You do not have this in your spreadsheet. We did a total of 12 grants, $115,000 worth. We donated their neighbors $10,400. We put in 8,755 hours of volunteer service. And if you add all that up together, that's about $344,000 that the volunteers have put in to Gillespie Park. We feel that this is part of being a neighborhood, that you do get your hands dirty. Technology is great. Calling the city to say, oh, come do something is great. But getting your hands dirty is what makes you a community. And we know that our neighborhood is gonna change. We know different people are gonna come in and become the board. And we hope that when they do, they understand teamwork and getting your hands dirty makes you a great neighborhood. Thank you.
Are there any, yeah, Dennis?
I play pickleball over at Gillespie Park. I love it over there. You put in new nets.
We did put in new nets.
You should join another court.
Yeah,
Courts are not enough.
That's what everyone tells us.
Dedicated tennis courts.
We bought all of that pickleball with a grant.
It's great.
Anyone else have a question?
Well, you didn't even respond to my.
I'll write that down for the
You
neighborhood.
didn't respond to my.
Yeah,
question.
well, it's on one of our lists. It's on the list to talk about it.
All right.
And that's how we get things done. We put it on the list, the board gets together, we present it to the general meetings, and then we tell you, what did we do? What did we get done this year? What do you want us to do next year? And what the heck are we gonna do about 2013, which we never seem to get done?
Any other question? All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Linda. So, let me read. I do need to mention that Click to Fix was brought up at the summit several times, as was best practices for a neighborhood, and we thought this fit right in with that theme. So, moving on, we're now to business. I need a motion, or are there any changes to the minutes from January? Then I need a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve the minutes.
And Mr. Lito Shores approves the minutes. Motion, that's Dennis Bischoff. Yes? And is there a second? All right.
Your name?
Your name? Ron Cashton seconds from Lito Laurel Park. Is there any other discussion? And by unanimous consent, then the minutes from January are approved. Moving on to reports. I have nothing right now. Jim had to go already, didn't he? Okay.
No, he's here.
Jim, where are you at? A little update on the website.
You thought you wouldn't have to move again.
You're good right here.
A website we continue to build and add new things to. One of the things that I told Officer Matt, the crime report that came out, which is already on the website, he sent it to me yesterday. There's a second page with you got a neighborhood crime stat, and then you got a second page that's actually a graphic of the neighborhood, outlining the boundaries and everything. It's really.
And the point of the.
They haven't yet pinpointed
They
the
haven't
actual
yet.
crime, no. But that's something that can be done, as we move forward. Particularly with all the things that Arminio is working on, et cetera. But please, if there's anything that you would like added to that website, let me know, because we certainly can get it out for you.
Thank you. Membership, Vice President. Go. Going down the hierarchy.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here in person today, not on Zoom.
But anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about membership. I'm working closely with District 1, District 2, and District 3 reps for the neighborhoods. Just a reminder that your dues are due January 15th. After March 15th, you will be not a member and we'll have to chase you so that you can sit at the table and talk and vote and do everything else. But another thing is very important, is that we need to know who your delegates are and who your alternates are at all times. If your president changes, if your delegates change, we need a new membership form signed by both the president and the delegate so that we know that whoever is sitting at the table has officially been approved. We're getting a lot of people that are coming in, sitting at the table. We don't have them listed as that person. We don't get information to say that they were sent in. So it is very, very important that you pass this on to your neighborhood associations, that if there are changes in your boards and changes in your delegates, that gets sent to us. And that can be sent as an email, you know, an emailed form, updated form. The form is on the website, and you can just fill it out or print it and send it back, you know, to the treasurer. And this way here, at least he has a copy, and then I have a copy so that when I do the sign-in sheets, I have the real name that's supposed to be here that day and not someone else's name that gets crossed off. So that is also very important. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Schofstall, a treasurer's report, please.
Good morning, everyone. Just to follow up with what Joanne said, that again, March 15th is the deadline for getting your paperwork in as well as your dues. And I'm going to be sitting at the table over when people walk in if they have any questions or they need a form or anything. I got some extras here, but we want to try and get this wrapped up. Our ending balance as of January 31st is $6,423.84.
That's it.
How much was that?
$6,423.84.
Thank you. Moving on. There's no old business, there's no new business. Let's move to discussion. The proposed commercialization of Ken Tompson Park. This came to my attention from Chris Golia at St. Armand's Circle, and Carl at Lido. How many have seen the presentation? I'm going to spring this. Chris, would you mind leading this off?
I don't desire to do that.
You don't? Oh, okay, all right. This is Carl. All right, Carl.
It came to my attention a couple months ago that they were putting something together, a group that turned around and did the Winter Festival the first year, and then they tried to do it the second time in St. Armand's, and we fought it, and we actually won. That they decided not to do it again. So now they're at it again as they want to take over Ken Tompson Park, and they're talking about a miniature, some kind of golf that's not. We just spent $20 million as a city to put a golf course in, which I don't really think we need one. And they just finished a splash pad, a new playground down at the Bayfront, and they're talking about putting a splash pad out there, a restaurant that you sit up, it takes you up in.
An
Aero bar, but again, it's park space. I was on the prep board for 3 terms, and I fought doggedly that we don't want to commercialize our parks in the city. It's green space, and I just don't see the need for it myself. But they're doing a presentation on Monday at the City Commission, and I already called down to the auditor clerk this week, and I was jumping up and down and say that you know, they're not allowing any comments on it in the, because it's a presentation, and I said, well, what about citizens input? And I was told that, they will not allow you to comment on that, so I'm gonna go down and talk about a couple different things about keeping parks public, so. You need to listen to this, cause it's going, it's been in the works for a couple months.
Yeah, Ron had a question.
Thank you, Carl, for bringing this in front of all the neighborhoods. And more of a question for the table in the back. If there's a topic that you can talk about as an agenda item, is it true that you can talk about it under general topics? So in either case?
You can speak about it at the next meeting, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you just can't speak about it
At that
that
meeting.
meeting. Right.
Okay.
Well, now keep in mind too, no, wait, wait a minute, wait. Keep in mind that this is a presentation and this will have to come back to commission on several different occasions. So again, it's on the radar, it's been in the works for a while. I know, I've seen the plans, and we just have to be mindful of what's gonna go on here.
Rob?
Wait a minute.
Okay. I need to put the past president to work.
Yeah, thanks, Carl and Ron. You might have seen some of it was on the local news station, and you know, one of the just so that everybody has a little understanding of the whole issue and how they're going to present this is that, you know, Moat Aquarium is leaving, right? So, Moat Aquarium is leaving. That's it. Moat is not closing out there. The research facility is going to stay and expand. And their rationale is that the aquarium is closing, and so there's going to be 300,000 fewer people visiting out there that'll be going to UTC instead. So, you know, there's a capacity at this park that they want to utilize. And that's their rationale. That's part of how they're going to be presenting this, and I think that's important. But Moat is not leaving. They are going to stay there as a research facility. It's very important that that gets communicated to everyone and that it's clear. They're going to expand that. Nothing's going to change in that realm. Sure, there are going to be fewer people, but it's a park. So is that really a bad thing? So, but yeah, we'll be plenty of opportunity to speak about this going forward, guys. And I would encourage you to do it accessibly. Share this with your community. Thank you.
Dennis Bischoff, Lido Shores. A lot of you are not gonna, be impacted by this as much as we are. I mean, Lido Shores is right there.
It can happen in any neighborhood, any park, any park.
That's true, thank you.
Any park.
But, we had a food truck event out there, a few weeks ago, and it wasn't even nice weather, okay? It was cold and windy. The traffic jam was insane. So you talk about having an amusement park out there and this rinky-dink golf course that they're talking about. And who's gonna benefit by that? The Salty Dog and the bait shop? Are they part owners of this thing? Because they're gonna benefit because of their restaurants. I don't see any benefit to this at all. I did not buy in Lido Shores to be in walking distance of an amusement park. Now, if the city wants to reduce my taxes 50%, because that's what's gonna happen to my property values if this goes up. And I'm telling you, this is a disaster. Now, not only that, we have South Lido Park, which is a disaster, okay? And it's accessed by water. This is gonna be the same thing because they're gonna, redo the beach. We're gonna have boaters and everybody else drinking and partying and carrying on. We're gonna be sandwiched in by two parks. It's gonna be a zoo. Is that what we want our Barrier Islands to be? No. Yeah, enhance the park, yes. But Disney-esque, no way. Thank you.
One thing,
Let Carl respond. push on the bottom. Oh, you-
One thing with, you know, again, what Dennis is saying is, and what Rob said, that, yes, the aquarium is leaving, but St. Regis on Lido, or on Lido, Longboat Key is coming online. It's a 164 room high-end hotel with 64 or so condos on that property that was the old, colony. There's not gonna be any less traffic out there. I don't care what anybody tells me.
Marissa.
It's on? Hi, Marissa Dawson, Central Coconut. I will say, when we were, fighting the Tommy's Car Wash, we went to every meeting with signs. So while you can't speak, you sure can print up some signs, and we held them up during the whole meetings, making it very clear what our opinions are. So I would encourage everybody to make up some signs and attend. I would also say that I would really support leaving it natural, maybe, you know, putting in some native plantings and that sort of thing, but every green space shouldn't be built up. Some of it should be left as just a natural park. So that's my opinion.
Hello, Norm Domain from Glen Oak Estates. I would support totally preservation of our parks. Parks are very important for all of us. Just some clarification though. I want to be sure that our information is accurate. From what I understand, and I'm not sure, I'd like to have clarification on this. My understanding is that they're proposing use of land that is beyond Moat Marine research, that Moat Marine isn't taking over parkland.
Right.
I'd oppose that too. So that's an argument I think they'll have. Secondly, I'd like to address that issue of enhancing the park. I do believe that it is an underutilized park, and I believe that's because we haven't invested in it as a park. For years, there has been a promotion, a discussion of more trees at that park. There's a wide space. There's lots of sun. We need shade at that park, so it is utilized, more utilized than what it is right now.
Okay, was there another comment over on this side? All right.
I'd like to say that.
Go.
Hi, Flo, Arlington Park Neighborhood, District 3 representative. This is also the privatization of our public park. The park is free to everybody right now. This will not be free to everybody. This is going to cost. So it's taking our free green space and making money for a business entity. So it's another thing to remember. And like we said, if it happens in this park, it can happen in any park in any neighborhood. So thank you.
So the question, okay, so let's close the certainly is. There we go.
What do we do moving forward? Can I offer a suggestion that we get a directive from this body that the board put together a proposal, a resolution about this that we then bring to the neighborhood associations so that it is a neighborhood association resolution and not just from the board.
So moved.
You didn't have your hand up, Charlie.
Sorry.
Norm?
Just two things. One, I would like to have, could we have a show of hands who would, one, support the plan? Okay, how many would support the plan that is being presented by, I think, is it Ride as the company? Right. How many would oppose that plan and keep the park as a park? So that we're clear in terms of the level of support we have in terms of both positions.
Let's do a straw poll then, which is totally illegal by Roberts. How many are in, say that again? How many are for their plan or against? Okay, how many are for their plan?
Can I ask a question first?
Sure.
I'm not sure what I'm voting
For or against, what
Oh.
is the actual plan for there? Is it an amusement park? It is an amusement park that we're voting.
It's a zip line.
Well, this is not legal though.
Maybe it's zip line.
Wait, okay, wait. Yeah, hang on, okay, folks, hang on. I think to do this right, you need to move it to the board to put together a cogent resolution
To take to the neighborhood.
to take to the neighborhood. If and only if,
City council commissioners move it forward.
if and only, yes, if they don't move it forward, this is, yes, yes. But,
Question about the city commission.
Kelly.
Just real quick.
Kelly first.
Even if this particular plan doesn't go forward, isn't it important though that we poll our neighborhoods and present feedback to the city? Because if they don't get in this part, I mean, imagine a carousel in the middle of Gillespie Park. I wouldn't be happy about that. And I'm pretty sure none of our neighbors would either. I'm looking right at you back there, neighbor. So I think it's important that we do get feedback, and we've got some time to do that, so let's do it right.
Yeah, and that's the point. Let's take our time to do it right. Okay.
Just a procedural question.
Sure.
Just about the committee.
Push hard on the bottom.
Is that on now?
No.
Hold it in. I understand.
Hold hold that in. You'll
Hello? Okay.
There.
I know that it's the scheduled presentation, no one can speak on it, and I don't know if anybody back there could answer this question. Is it just a presentation? Can the commission take an action to move it forward as a presentation from there? Or, like as a consensus, can they move it forward, or does this have to get onto the agenda at a later point without?
Yes, it would have to go on a future commission a future agenda at the direction of the commission. So if it was put on an agenda, then it would be able to be spoken to at the meeting.
So, as a presentation, can the commission have a brief discussion about this Monday, and then by consensus or vote, move it forward then? Or is that not allowed because it's a presentation?
The commission can basically vote on anything they
Okay,
like.
I just wanted to be clear. So after the presentation, they can have a discussion and they could move it forward or not.
It would have to be put on by the commission on a future agenda. So yes, there'll probably be some discussion, and I would imagine they'll make a determination one way or the other. But they're my bosses; they can do whatever they
No,
want.
I just didn't know, since there was no public input allowed, I didn't know if the commissioners were also barred from doing anything about it. But I understand what you're saying. They can do whatever they want. I get it. Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. One more. One more.
One more real quick.
Dennis, Lou.
Yeah.
I can talk loudly. Okay, so what our neighborhood is doing is we're sending letters
To the commissioners before this meeting, because we can't talk at the meeting. So anybody that would like to do that,
I understand.
I would hope you would do that.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right, so let's get back to Charlie. You moved that we should move this to the board for consideration.
For investigation and consideration of a resolution at a future date.
Hang on, Charlie.
Hello?
There you go.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo. So I'm going to try to paraphrase you. So I moved that the board undertake the activity to investigate and consider the viability of the Tompson Park presentation and come back to the neighborhoods with a neighborhood resolution to be voted on by the neighborhoods if and when such a vote is applicable.
I need a friendly amendment to that.
Second.
Okay, second, yeah, thank you. Okay, we need a friendly amendment to make that a little more generic.
Which is?
Yeah.
What's the amendment?
No, I'm asking that that motion is specific to Ken Tompson Park.
So so I would like to amend the motion to apply to all parks in the city.
There you go.
Am I getting warmer?
Seconder?
Cole?
Second. And the seconder also agrees. Is there any more discussion? All in favor say aye. I'm sorry, show of hands, please. Against? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Are there any other topics for discussion? All right, so then let's move on to our neighborhood reports. And let me add a sidebar to the neighborhood reports. As the more we use click to fix, the more we get away from having to bug our good friend Pat Robinson about things that don't get fixed. So let's remember, let's tell our neighborhoods about click to fix. All right, Pat, come on up here. And, okay, are you your delegate?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna, wait a minute, where's, Joanne, bring that microphone over here. All right, we're gonna, remember, report on the achievements of your neighborhood, and if there's something that we need attention, mention it so Pat can get on it. If you want your neighborhood report in the minutes, please send it to president@sarasota.ccna.org. I will get it to Daniel to get into the minutes. And we're gonna go this way today, and Daniel's starting out as the representative from.
Great, thank you very much, McClellan Park. So I just revealed my secret identity here. So just two things, I'll try to make it very quick. One of them is that before Hurricane Ian, there were 2 benches in Seminole Linear Park. Now there's only 1 bench in Seminole Linear Park. The wind actually blew away one of our 2 benches, which were in pretty rough shape to start with. And we are still trying to get the bench replaced. I should just note that it's a tiny little park. It is the only park we have. And so, you know, I think it's a greater concern just because we don't have anywhere else to kind of meet up ever since the community center property ended up in private hands. So we're very interested in getting kind of the bench, a place where people can kind of meet up a little more in the park. Then the other thing is the Hyde Park by Yama west of Osprey. There are quite a number of sinkholes, including one that was never repaired and is now probably 8 to 12 inches deep and sort of cone shaped. I had to swerve around it this morning actually on my way in, so would just ask that we take another look at the significant kind of problems with the sinkholes on Hyde Park there. That's it.
What was the cross street on Hyde Park?
Yama, Y-A-M-A-W.
Got it. Thank you.
How do you spell that?
My name is Melinda Delpech from Tahiti Park, and I do not have a report.
My name is Marissa Dawson from Central Coconut. I have 3 items. The first one was we had our community cleanup on January 18th. It was in conjunction with 16 organizations, including Ringling College, Suncoast Waterkeepers, and Sarasota Bay Estuary Program and Newtown Nation. We had 55 people attend. We took out 1,330 pounds of trash, including a bra, a statue of an angel, 4 tires, a bunch of fishing nets, and a TV.
Did you find his bench?
No, we didn't find his bench, sorry. We looked there. We're getting more organized now with our social media. We're accepting our annual dues by PayPal now. Our Facebook page is showing more action, and we're working on getting our constant contact to start getting more out there to our members. And then last, MLK Park is currently undergoing the design and planning for the new fishing dock and kayak launch. Once that kayak launch is put in, turns out they're going to qualify for some federal funds for improvements. The city did have funding for dredging the Whitaker Bayou and also the Hudson Bayou last year. That did get vetoed up by our governor, and but now we could look at some federal funds to maybe dredge out some of those waterways and get them cleaned up. Thank you.
St. Armand's has no report this month.
Oh, wait.
No, wait.
You can't get by
that. And Pat, appreciate what you do and your great sense of humor. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Dennis Bischoff, Lido Shores. I think we already expressed the problems that we're facing, but I have one issue, and that involves John Ringling Parkway. You know, the FPL put in all these hurricane poles. Why didn't they just go underground with them? And I've been trying to contact everybody and their brother to see who to talk to, and they keep passing the buck. If anybody has an answer to that, who we could talk to. It's crazy to spend all that money and they could have done it underground.
I can actually partly answer that. I have a friend who works on the project for them.
And where you have easy access to something, it's actually much faster to fix it if it's above ground. So they did the same thing on Osprey, where we have these huge poles down Osprey. Right. And it really has to do with sort of time to repair and access. They're
Right.
unsightly, but it's actually, you'll get your power back faster probably.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Okay.
I just want to know why Richard doesn't hold the microphone for me. But I think the second part of that conversation is when
you don't have a typewriter in front of you.
I'm doing the old-fashioned way. There is a secondary issue with that with hardening, and I think maybe it's time we bring FPL back to do a little presentation, because hardening sometimes, just putting it underground doesn't actually harden the system. It can actually compromise it in certain ways, and I can't remember who said it, but it is quicker to get it back up and running if it's above ground, so you don't have to do directional boring and everything. But I think we could facilitate FPL coming in and just having, because we're coming up, we're going to get into hurricane season here in a couple of months. Probably a good time to have people come back and have that conversation, because we will have those questions again. So thank you.
Thanks. All right.
Good morning. Carlos Shanson, sitting in for Mary Butler.
I think I left you a voicemail yesterday and you didn't respond. Yeah, I did. All right.
I'll get right on that.
Thank you, sir.
2 minutes, Carlos.
I don't have a report, but I'd like to thank Mark Smith for cleaning up Leonard Avenue, trash removal, and that's all I have.
He's a new delegate too. Welcome.
Yes.
He's new to the room, but not new to us.
That's true.
Yeah, Joyce Fitzpatrick, Plymouth Harbor, and we certainly, will be very affected by what happens at Ken Tompson Park. So, we're in this for the duration. I know Pat said last month that we're gonna work on traffic abatement on John Ringling, and I was just wondering, if anything has been done as yet that I could report back to Plymouth Harbor. And I will remind you or restate again that in about 2026, we will be building a new 7-story structure on our parking lot with 4 floors of parking and 3 of residential apartments. That's it.
Suzanne Waxman, Tolles Court. I have 2 items. One is the parking issue on Adams, and Nancy Kelly has been helping us. We can't seem to come to an agreement with one person who does own a lot there, but we are working on it. We're appreciative of Nancy. And the second issue that we would like to discuss is the new construction of the area called Artist Court, which is on Adams and Washington. So there have been 2 sets of plans put in, and we're very excited to see exactly what we're going to come up with and what's going to be approved. Some people are for certain things, and of course some people are not for certain things. So we're hopeful we can come to a really nice agreement and everyone will be happy. Thank you, and again, it's a pleasure to sit in front of you.
Again, Norm Domain, Glen Oaks Estates. I would like to compliment Click to Fix. We had a situation where there was some utility work on our main street, Caliandra, and they left maybe about 2 feet or a foot and a half that was not filled in. So as you drove, you couldn't actually see that area that wasn't filled in, and all of a sudden you came whack. And people weren't appreciative of what was happening to their vehicles and the problem of safety. It was reported and corrected very quickly. So I appreciate the city and the work that the city has done on that. Also, at our circus entrance, they've done a lot of work utility-wise, and they have now paved our entrance that had been disrupted, and they did a wonderful job. I've got to say, I don't know exactly who was responsible for it, but whoever did need to be complimented. We now need some kind of crosswalk so you can get from Caliandra to the nature park and across the street. At this point, it's a dangerous situation if someone's trying to cross Circus Boulevard. We have today a garage sale for Glen Oaks Estates and Glen Oaks Ridge that we're partnering with. And we have our block party that's going to be coming up in March, and Nancy has been helping us out. Nancy Kelly has been helping us out with that. Otherwise, all's well.
Good morning, David Lowe from DISCA. How many of you have been attending the Duani and the series? If you are attending these, there's 2 more, one on the 14th and one on the 28th, and I would highly encourage everybody in this room to attend those. If you can get a ticket, I mean, there's 400 or 500 people there. One thing DISCA is doing on March 20th, we are hosting one of our semi-annual workshops, and one of our goals for that is to kind of say, so what? You know, we've heard these speakers, we've heard the futurists, we've heard these thoughts on what we're doing right and what we could do better. So what? So we have a panel that includes Lucia, Nick Patel, Heather Caston from the Chamber, amongst others. So if you would, March 20th in the afternoon, and we're just a little humor here. If you saw the Duani presentation, he used the term, how does Sarasota stay cool? And we're gonna maybe pick up on that theory. How do we stay cool as a city, as in hip? How do we stay cooler with canopy trees? But how do we strike that balance with vibrancy and some degree of control, for lack of a better word? So March 20th, the Stay Cool panel. Thanks.
What time?
4:30 at the Church of the Redeemer.
Ron Cashton, Laurel Park. There's 2 developments that I think you'll be interested in. One is the Payne Park Townhomes. Now, this is a development on Oak Street, well, in between Oak and Laurel on Washington. And the developer originally had some drawings that some of the neighbors, both Laurel Park and Alta Vista and Toll's Court, was concerned about trees. So we reached out and gave our advice or feedback, and arborist Don Ullman took an interest to this. And recently, there's been a revision in those plans, and they're much more sensitive to the neighborhoods. So that was nice to see. And the other development that's still in progress is Laurel Park and Benderson regarding the county building. And we're still in discussion with Benderson. They haven't moved forward with their original plans. And we're very appreciative that they're still, we're still talking. So that's good. Thanks.
Good morning, Charlie Nagelschmidt, Broadway Promenade. First, I'd like to thank the board for the nice name tags this morning. The facilitate communication and know who we're talking to, so thank you very much. And secondly, I look forward to more open discussions on issues like we had about Tompson Island as everybody starts to use Click to Fix. So thank you.
Joyce Cloutier from Harbor Acres. We have our annual meeting the end of February. We're inundated with new construction in our neighborhoods. So in our neighborhood, it's kind of disconcerting to have all of these trucks there all the time and parking. I have called the city, and that kind of, in one location, actually was corrected. So other than that, we're enjoying the cool weather.
Good morning, Elizabeth Rose, Bay Point Park. We have our annual meeting next week, otherwise nothing to report, but I believe at the Duwani presentation, Marty Hilton from Architecture Sarasota said they were recording the sessions and it could be viewed on their website. It was an eye-opener. Must see TV.
Marty said that it should be available at the end of the weekend.
Okay, so it'll be on their website.
It should be on their website.
Eileen Normile, Hudson Bayou. We are having a concert from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. March 3rd. We have no idea who's playing. Evidently, it's people from the neighborhood, so come for the mystery. It's in Pomelo Circle, which was lift station 87. You may know that location. A concern that was sent to me by the board, 1640 Waldemere Street. These are neighborhoods, for instance, Bungalow Hill, which is where I live, which will give you some idea of the type of houses that are there. 1640 Waldemere Street is being advertised to be built, 7 bedrooms, 8 baths, and a 7-car garage. The concern, of course, I don't even have to explain it to you. My concern is how is something, by the way, it's being advertised in its real estate listing as an investor property, and there's a mention of the city's code. So if you're going to be doing that, it seems to me you should not be approved under residential zoning because that's a commercial enterprise. So there's a disconnect there. Pat, thank you very much. Also Lucia Panica and John Shamsi, the city attorney, have been working with me to try to figure out the legal way to bring citizen evidence into code enforcement hearings. And we're making really great progress. John is going to take another look at it. He wrote a memo and we talked about it, and we went over some case law that he presented, because I don't have access to case law anymore, but using his cases, there's actually something called the balancing of interest test, which is applicable to quasi-judicial hearings, which I've never heard anything about, and that is balancing the interest of the applicant, or in the case of code enforcement, the accused, and the public interest. So that's something that I think everybody ought to give another thought to in quasi-judicial hearings, and it may, it could have applicability actually to the city commission hearings as well.
Linda Jacob, Gillespie Park. We had our meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we had people out from zoning because Gillespie Park is becoming the place to build things. And this is what we were concerned about. This house is now in the middle of a residential street on 8th Street. It was originally said to be a duplex. We now hear that they want to divide it, which means it would be 2 residents with 2 accessory dwellings behind it. We are facing, like you said, people coming into our neighborhood and building, and we are on top of it all the time. Another thing that with the building, we would like to know how we can have the work ethic changed for these builders. When they're starting at 5 o'clock in the morning, going all day on Saturday, and even on the holidays, the day of Thanksgiving, they were putting up a 6-foot fence across the street from my house. So I think that the city needs to look with all this building that's going on, about the people who are currently living in the neighborhood. Another thing that we found is Frontier is just allowing their cables to lay on the sidewalks. They've been there for weeks. Another thing that we've noticed lately is downtown, since we live very close, some of the streets need to be restriped so that the snowbirds can tell when they can turn left. We have on an internal note, we've elected a new board. We got another member to our board, so we now have 8 people on our board. And Kelly Brown is our new president. Thanks, honey. And for the next meeting, if you have any books that you don't need anymore, don't want to read, there's some people that do. We have 3 little free libraries in our neighborhood, in the park. We have another one in the neighborhood. And then we also take care of the 3 libraries at the Bay. So we're going through about 100, 200 books a week. So anything you can help, next meeting, come with a book bag. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Liz Mena here with Park East. I'm the alternate to the delegate. We have some pretty cool updates. Our website, we finally have a URL. It is parkeastsrq.com. It is still under construction, so it's not completely up to date, but we're excited about that. We'll be getting that set up hopefully in the next few months. Our general membership meeting is set for the end of the month, February 27th at 6 p.m. at First Brethren Church, right off Shade Avenue. Our board met this week and we finally selected colors for our new Park East neighborhood sign, the one that's being repainted, and then our new sign. We're still in the process of deciding where exactly we want to locate that one, but we went with some colors that we felt were more Sarasota, like a nice little maize yellow and green with block lettering, so we're happy about that. And thank you, Nancy Kelly, for all your help with that as well. And that's all for us.
Barbara Beard, San Remo, no report.
Kevin Spence, Indian Beach, Sapphire Shores. First, we'd like to thank the city for a grant. We had something called the IBSSA Greenway, and there was some fencing that we had to move to expand it, and that was recently accomplished. And in honor of that, we had a cleanup on January 13th and moved out a pile of invasive plants and debris that was 6 foot tall by 15 wide by 15 deep. And so we're pretty proud that we started to clean that up for the neighborhood. A couple things that have our interest, and recently, there's something called the Okoye Apartments that are being, well, they were apartments, that are being built at Tamiami and Remington. And they went through the whole planning commission phase as apartments, and now they're being sold as condos. And we're not necessarily opposed to that. I mean, that's investment in the area, but all of a sudden, poof, it's condos when we thought they were going to be apartments. So we're just a little bit surprised by that. Those are on sale now, and all you have to do is Google Okoye Apartments, and they're very pricey, so it's not going to add to any kind of rental stock, but it certainly adds to an asset in the city. Also, another thing that has our attention is bordering our property is New College, and New College just presented on 19 January their plans for development. The bulk of that is in Manatee County, and also it's on state land. It's because it's a school, so it doesn't necessarily have the restrictions that would happen in the city. Major constructions, everybody's probably seen in the newspaper, and one of the issues that is very pertinent to our area, our neighborhood of Uplands, is going to have, they're going to have a major building right on the bay that was previously all green and was actually for stormwater recirculation. And so the Uplands were pretty upset about that. To give New College a fair shake, they did have this meeting. They were looking for public input. There was substantial public input, and they did promise to incorporate public input into their plans. So the $50 million that Mr. Corcoran had requested, he says he's going to get all these buildings built by 2025. I think that's kind of ambitious, but who knows. And on the east side of Tamiami, abutting the airport, that recent property that you saw flip-flop, they're going to put all of the sports things there, and they're going to have multiple teams. There's going to be a baseball field, a softball field, a basketball arena, and a soccer field. And so all that's going to be
we need to move it on.
And so that's coming down the pike.
Thank you. Rob, you have a little extra time since we've been running over, so.
Oh, no, I'll be as quick as I can. In January, we had, we just had our regular membership meeting recently. We actually expanded our board and added 2 board members, which is very exciting for us to get more people involved. That helps the board there, and they're more geographically, we're able to get some people from different parts of the neighborhood, so hopefully that will help drive participation. On January 14th, we had our concert in the park. It was very cold, it was very wet, but 75 to 100 people showed up. And we all sat there and we listened to the band, and I mean, it worked out. And I mean, thank you, Nancy Kelly, thank you, the city. We had the trailer, we got grant support. I mean, without the city, we couldn't have done this. So thank you guys very much. It's a very important thing. It's our 2nd year. We're gonna keep doing it. And we'll have our potluck picnic in May, or April this year, it's a little earlier. We noticed that there was some speeding study going on around the neighborhood, Mr. Robinson. Just be curious to get some results to see, what's going on with that. I'd like to know. And also for you, Mr. Robinson, if somebody could just do a drive-by of the 4 houses being built in the 2400 block of Floyd Street, I don't see a dumpster, and there's a lot of piles of debris. I think they've had no dumpster issues. 2400. It's 4 houses. It's the Pink Floyd tree lots. Yeah. And then I just wanted to sort of talk about. I mean, we several people have mentioned, this development of these big homes going on in the neighborhood and that sort of thing. The division of the 2 homes there in Gillespie Park, and the Duani talk that has been mentioned. Look, single-family residential homes are under attack. And they're under attack by, to some degree, the kinds of ideas that Mr. Duani brought forth. I mean, we're being told that we've got to make housing and you've got to change things and the density is the issue, and that single-family residential is going to have to make sacrifices. And this is what the result of it is. I mean, it comes out in the planning and the zoning, and comes out in the philosophy. This is what's being driven against us. And somehow we're being made to look like the enemy because we've got these homes and we've built this life, and now we're the bad people. It's just not fair. So I just kind of want to put that out there because we all have the same problem, but somehow we're now being cast in a light that just, I don't know, it's not right. So, I empathize and sympathize with all of us that are going through this. So, thank you.
Hi, Miles Philbin, South Point City Park. We have a number of initiatives that I've mentioned at prior meetings: lighting, street resurfacing, traffic safety, and whatnot. I don't need to get specific on them; they're all under investigation. But I do want to personally express appreciation to Pat Robinson and Nancy Kelly because they've been very helpful on our investigation, and hopefully they'll continue to be helpful on our solutions. So thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Jerry Fagan from Glen Oaks Ridge, and we just had our board of directors election. We'll be sitting the new board next month, and we'll be getting back to this board to make a list current. Thank you.
Hi, Jody Geiger with Bayou Oaks. We have on March 30th our neighborhood social event coming up. I want to thank Nancy Kelly for getting our grant through. Also had good success with Click to Fix. Did a problem with them. We got more pest waste stations at North Water Tower Park. Thank you. We could also use a few more garbage cans up there. And the last thing, I talked to Pat about this a couple days ago about the Ringling School of Art Design, the crosswalks, with a little bit of maybe delay for students to get across and more time for drivers to get past the students. That's it. Thank you.
Coral Schulstall, Lido Key Residents Association. Our delegate is out of town, so our report for our neighborhood is we had our January member meeting, and Pat Robinson gave us nice speech and update on what's going on around the city and stuff. Yesterday we had our board meeting, and we actually have 2 new board members that are on board, and it was nice to see. Now I'm not the oldest one. Or I should say I'm not the youngest one anymore. We were informed that we're going to have there's a dune project that's going out to try and keep water from intrusion when we have high seas and stuff in the Gulf, and we're going to get a little bit of a beach renourishment along with that. The city decided to do it all at one shot, which I think is a great idea because it saves on mobilization costs and everything. Hotel houses, there's 3 being built right next to me, and the noise in the morning at 5 o'clock, whoever mentioned it down there, we did look up, and if I'm wrong, please somebody tell me that they can actually start at 6 o'clock in the morning and work till 8 or 9 at night, and they can work on Saturday and Sundays. I know up in Longbow Key, you can't start until 8 o'clock, and you gotta be out by 5, and Saturdays is a limited day, and no work on Sunday. We have a breakfast meeting coming up for our on February 17th as our annual meeting, and that's about it.
All right, thank you, everyone. So, are there any, yes, I was gonna ask you, are there anything from last month that you need to tell us about?
No, I mean, I'll send you the punch list so you guys can put it out, but I just want to say a couple things. One, I'm going to make sure Herminio sends myself and Nancy a link to both the Apple Store and the Android Store, so there's a little confusion because you do have to type in COS before you hit click to fix, and so we'll get those out so you don't have to even think about it, just click on it, and you can add that to newsletters and any website that you like. As far as the noise on the construction issue, we do have limited noise hours on the weekends. I do not believe they should be starting before 7 a.m., but I will get you the pertinent portions of that code, and I'll send them to Richard so you guys have them. And that way, if officers are responding out, because you gotta remember, Matt, how long have you been here? 10 years? 12 years. So he's like Old Man River now, but we literally have hired probably 100 police officers in the last 5 years. So it's a learning experience for the new guys that are coming on. We do have sort of a complicated noise ordinance. So if you have that ordinance with you, I don't think many officers are going to be insulted if you're like, hey, this is what I'm talking about, and just show them. And then if you don't get the answer that the code is pertaining to, ask for a supervisor, ask for a sergeant. They've been around longer, they're a boss, they have access to all this stuff, and they have more time to look into things. Same conversation we had about South Lido Park. A lot of the new cops think that's still a county park and they don't have authority. We have an MOU with the county to allow for enforcement now, so it's just getting that down through the ranks, and we have 190 police officers, and you would think it was easy, but with any communication and any organization, it takes a little bit of time to boil down. But what I'm saying is, if you have an issue where you feel that appropriate enforcement action is not being taken, just ask to talk to a supervisor. It happens all the time. So don't feel bad about it, and don't feel bad about calling the cops out to a noise complaint if it really is a problem. Again, 316-1199 is the non-emergency number, and they will come out and meet with you. It might be, depending upon what the call volume is, might be a couple minutes, but use them. That's what they're there for. Maybe you'll get Matt to come out. He's fantastic. So yeah, you will. Yeah. I'm giving them all your cell after this. But thank you as always. We really do. Nancy, myself, Nick, Doug, Steve, we do value your input and giving us things to work on, because we know that there's a lot of different things that the community or the commission deals with that are esoteric and political, and they're zoning and they take forever. But day-to-day things that we can impact, the positive things in your life, is really what this is set up to do. Lou started this a long time ago, and it's been, I should say, I've been handed around over the last couple boards, and we really do appreciate it, because I think we do accomplish a lot. So couldn't do without Nancy and Nick and my guys in the PD and Public Works and Utilities. We're very grateful to have the opportunity to hear your stuff and work on them. I know the commissioners also appreciate that. So thank you guys very much, and we'll get working on this list next. Only 3 pages today, guys. Thank you.
Okay, Pat, what was that number?
316-1199.
316-1199, non-emergency. Okay. So, we've gone through the neighborhood, just give her where's the mic, you have a microphone. All right, Nancy has a couple announcements.
No, just one. So I sent to all the neighborhood leaders yesterday our brand new tree program. Development Services is administering this. It's called the Neighborhood Canopy Program. And it was brought to my attention that the flyer does have the wrong phone number on it. So the alternative is also you email Neighborhood Canopy Program. So I'm gonna leave these flyers at the front. I crossed out the number, so just email. So it's a really wonderful thing. You get a tree, there's a set of spring trees or fall trees. You get your email in right away that you want it, and it basically, you get a select group of trees. For $100, the tree is valued up to $500, and our arborists will help you with the landscaping company that we've contracted with to come out to your home, find an appropriate place to plant the tree. You are of course responsible to keep watering the tree, but really cool program. We had the mature tree program last year. Now this is called the Neighborhood Canopy Program. So here's the flyer.
Nancy, could you
Yes.
give me the email again? I'm sorry.
I sent it to everyone's email. It's Neighborhood Canopy Program at sarasotafl.gov. That's the email.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
In the right of way, or it's between, if you read the flyer, yeah, it's between the right of way and the plane of your house. So it's on your property. Okay? Thank you.
All right. Hey, do you have anything else, Nancy?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Trice.
I'm over
30
here. I'm over here. I don't
there
have
you are.
anything there.
Nothing, okay. Ms. Vice Mayor, do you have anything? 30 seconds.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
So I just wanted to bring to your attention some bills that are going through the state right now, and you are not powerless to act. I would ask anybody who wants the information to be able to contact your elected officials in Tallahassee who are preempting your city government from doing all kinds of things, including the fees to collect for these vacation rentals. We have a second reading, and we have already raised our fees to pay for the program. The people doing the vacation rentals will pay a fee, and that pays for this program. The state has a bill to cap it at $150. So there's a House bill, there's a Senate bill. The Senate bill is much more reasonable. It says if we can prove why we need it, then it's okay, but the House bill still caps it at $150, which means you all are gonna subsidize this program. You're impacted by it, and you get to pay for it. So there are a number of bills going through Tallahassee right now, and you can directly contact your elected officials. It is very important, and it is very impactful. The Florida League, you all did this a couple of years ago, and I'm looking at Chris Golio over there because you remember this. It stopped a lot of bad bills pertaining to specifically vacation rentals. So please email me, jen.ahern-koch@sarasotafl.gov. I will send you Scott Dudley's information from the Florida League of Cities, and he will get you the information to directly contact your elected officials. It will take 1 minute. Please do this. And it's vacation rentals, business tax, our ability to manage the millage, and the Live Local Act. We support that. There's a bill to change the Live Local Act, do away with the density, do away with the height. The height is much better restrictions. The density is the density that we currently have, nothing having to do with bonuses. Really important to support that one. So there's some good bills and some bad bills, and I'm happy to talk to you, anyone about any of these. I just got back from Tallahassee, you can't tell. So that's it. I'll pass it over to Mayor Albert.
Thank you, and the Vice Mayor is absolutely correct. There are just all sorts of bad bills in lots of areas that the legislature is trying to push through. So get in touch with her since she's right, and she'll send you the information on these bills and what you can do to stop all this preemption that they keep every year trying to pass, so that we don't have any power locally, and they want to centralize it all in Tallahassee. Thank you.
just one more. One of them, which is really important, and Steve can back me up on this one. There's a bill to fast track permitting large, big residential buildings to 3 days. 3 days, not 3 business days, 3 days. So they can submit something on a Friday at 3:30, and it has to be approved by Monday. This is huge, and it is flying through the state right now. So please be involved. Get in touch with me.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to say good morning and let you know that I was able to get the county commission to increase, the money for historical markers in Sarasota County. Currently, we budget 2 a year. We have to double it to 4 a year. And so, if you have you need a historical marker in your neighborhood, by all means, please get it in, and we'll get it moving. And I hear that Gillespie Park has theirs in.
Not yet.
This spring. Okay, well, it's moving.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Very good. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, a couple comments at the end. The next meeting is March 2nd here at 9 o'clock. The program is housing and homeless. Blue Sky, the people who are building on North Tamiami Trail, affordable housing. Paxton, I forget his last name, Noel. He's building affordable housing downtown. He's from Connecticut, interesting guy. Castle will be here, Second Heart Homes, SPD Hot Team, and Salvation Army to talk to us about housing and the homeless. Beyond that, I think April is going to be the new parking gentleman, whose name I don't remember.
Roxton.
Yes, we'll talk about the expansion of parking, metered parking.
Paid parking.
Paid parking, yes, thank you. May is going to be a voter awareness day. June, I hope we have a candidate forum, then we're off for 2 weeks. And then I have October, I have a commitment from Mr. Marty Hilton III to talk. He is the president of the Architecture Sarasota. So we have interesting. Anyway, thank you everyone. And before I say we're adjourned, turn your mobiles back on. And we are adjourned.